We are recording.
live this week.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Sexually Speaking, the show that we have created to celebrate all things sex and the sex of everything. We are going to be having unconventional conversations to unfuck your life, however that might show up for you and whatever day that you're listening to these broadcasts or these shows in the replay. I am Keisha Clark, and I'm here with my amazing, incredible, divalicious co-creator, Rhonda Burns. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? It's all the Spanish I know. Don't ask me anymore.
Yes. I have limited multilingual capabilities, so if anyone who has not gotten the memo did not hear what we were talking about prior to the airing of today's show, we actually had our premiere show last week, and we did not have our technical savvy hat on, and so the show did not get recorded. So we are re-premiering. We're calling it our premiere over this week, and we're calling it probably quite a few things, but I thought premiere over was kind of fun. So we're going to do this today with the recording, because we are now recording. And we do have a few little housekeeping things to let you know. If you would like to enter any comments in the chat, you will have the option of entering them so that everyone can see your comment, or you can send a private comment to myself and Rhonda as the host or panelist of the show. And if you would like for your questions to be anonymous, you can let us know that. We're going to err on the side of not saying a lot of names, just because we do get that there might be some folks who don't necessarily want their name broadcast because these replays will be available for public viewing for the members of Sexually Speaking. So, Rhonda, did you have anything else? I know you're
just on the communications front right now, since this is a brand new endeavor and we are still building as we go. We just came out of the gate because that's what it wanted. Emails, once you've signed up for the list and you're on the list, the emails for the call-in information or Zoom information will come out 24 hours in advance, an hour before each morning call, and then our follow-up, our target is to send you stuff, the replay information, within 24 hours. Currently, it is coming from a Gmail account address. We will be changing that to the domain address. So a lot of times it will hit your spam folders. So if you're looking for the call-in information or the replay information, please check your spam folders until further notice. That is where mine has been going. And just FYI, we will get that changed eventually. But for now, just know that it's probably there. So thank you for that additional step and your patience there.
Yes. Yeah, we are in the beginning stages, and we're doing this really different. So it's kind of like a summit. It is a webinar, it's a webcast, it's a web show. So we're sort of finding all of the correct words, or the words that really land, and the ways to really do this in a way that is smooth and as seamless as possible. So yes, thank you for playing with us through all of this part. And how does it get more fun around discovering something new and different?
Yeah. I'm so excited we're here again.
Me too.
So, Keisha, can I stop us before we go too much further? Because a lot of people do know us. They played with us before, but because we're going to be airing this one to the public as opposed to just our intimate group right now, who are you? Would you please share a little bit about who you are and what you do and what you would like people to know?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll time you. Just kidding.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
My elevator.
No, girl. We got an hour.
So I'm Keisha Clark, and I am a radio show host of a show called Living Well, and I am a body worker, body practitioner, body work practitioner, depending on what lands, of about 25-ish years or so. And that was mostly hands-on body work until these last 3 or 4 years. I added more on purpose. I added the energetic work, what we refer to as energetic body work, and it's fun. It's fun to be playing with this, and I have a great enthusiasm for bodies, for all things to do with bodies and the beings that they host, and the ways that our beings and our bodies can create and co-create and relate and engage each other. That is not something that is a topic of very many conversations these days. And certainly when I was growing up, it was not something that was popular to discuss. So now, having the collection of tools that I have over the span of the last few decades that I've collected, I just have more ease playing with bodies and having conversations around bodies and the ways that we can work to, well, I don't know if it's work, I guess it could be in some respects, but really create and co-create a relationship that from that relationship we can be creating our life in a very different way. So it's sort of like the creation of your life, including both you and your body, and allowing for what really works for you and your body. And I love to push the envelope a bit. I love to play with what is different and what is unique to each of us. And that's kind of what brought me in the direction of having a radio show, and then, you know, in the creation of this project. Is I really like to have those unconventional conversations, and I have a gnat. I really like to go to the places that we don't typically talk about. So I'm playing with the word. I am a conversationalist as well, and I'm an intuitive medium. I am a speaker. I am actually an author, twice published in a collaborative work, and it's just fun. So primarily what I am playing with right now is being an ambassador of embodiment, and it kind of collects all of the things that I like to play with. When I talk about embodiment, I'm referring to the expression of all the energies that we have at our fingertips, at our disposal, or at, you know, that are available for us to play with. And how do we express those energies, play with those energies, create with those energies, in tandem with, you know, in harmony and synergistically with our bodies for the time that we're here to play. And I also, in my mediumship, I work with a lot of beings who don't have bodies, so not to leave any of you guys out. So yeah, and now I'm having fun launching into this with you, really choosing into the direction of what is in mainstream referred to as sex positive work, a sex positive change agent, perhaps. So what else can we do? And I would love for you to share about your awesomeness as well, my friend, for those who might not be familiar with you.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And for folks who don't know about your show, it is on a2zen.fm. It's an internet radio platform. Fridays at 11 Eastern, titled Living Well, WEAL. You have tons of archives. Have you been on the radio over a year now?
Over a year, and this week will be my 79th episode.
Holy schmoly, I love it. So if you got and I know you cover so many subjects, and I love your show, so check it out, friends. Okay, so I do want to say this before I tell you a little bit about me. It really is my target, and I know Keisha's as well, because we play with some really cool individuals on the planet. And a lot of the things that we speak and that you will hear us speak of may be new or foreign to you. And if you found us, for whatever reason you found us, whatever you're seeking, please know that it is perfect. It is okay. And if there's anything that we speak of that doesn't make sense, or when we speak of energy, I can tell you 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I was not where I am now, not even close. So it doesn't take long to start to wrap your head or your knowing around some of these concepts. So just hang in there. And if you have questions after the fact, please, please, please let us know what those questions are, because it's one of my targets to be uber clear, to create clarity so that people can get free in whatever area for them. And so to who I am is, I'm a catalyst for change. I'm a change agent. I'm a coach and a facilitator, an intuitive body worker. Really, primarily, I use whatever tool, whatever tip, process, technique is within my realm of finding or understanding or comprehending or being able to utilize. Nothing is off limits, because what I know now, beyond anything else I know, is that we're capable of anything. Anything is changeable. Everything truly is possible when you're willing to get vulnerable, when you're willing to have courageous and unconventional conversations, usually with yourself, first and foremost. And so I really do champion bold living and that vibrant, potent, powerful you, because we're all unique and individually brilliant and magical in our own way. And I would like to see more of that show up on the planet. And I'm really good at having conversations with people to kind of coax that through and show people where there might be some stuck stuff. So I'm a great conversationalist too. I love to communicate and connect with people. I think that's something that has been missing for a while on the planet, is as connected as we are digitally, we are so disconnected in so many ways. And it's just fun for me to play with connecting. So I think, and I too have a radio show.
I was just going to say, can I tell people about your radio show?
Please do.
It is called Potency is My Game. And of course, you've just seen an example of that in living color. And it airs on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And again, you can go to a2zen.fm. That's A, the number 2, zen.fm. And you can find both Rhonda and I. If you just go to the host page, you'll see our pictures. You can click on that, and then it'll bring up all of our shows, the upcoming shows, as well as it'll have a way for you to go to our archives page. And you've been on the air now for...
I am going to be pre-recording my 37th show today for tomorrow's air. Yes. And you know what I love about our shows, Keisha, along with all the other brilliant hosts that are on there, is it's great free content. It not only like opens up awareness and gives people different things to think about. We also empower people with tools and tips to change things, right? It's not just blabbering about who's wearing what and who's doing whom. It's about like,
not a gossip show.
Yeah. It's so deep. And that's what I love about our shows on A to Zen, is there is such an empowerment space. So just check them out, friends, if it resonates for you.
Yeah, I like events that you can actually have a takeaway. And that is part of our target, is to give you something that you can actually take into your life and implement with ease. I mean, relatively speaking, because now when in this show we're talking more, sexually speaking. But both of us really do have a target to offer you things that you can actually utilize, things that are not, you don't have to be in a specific lifestyle or tax bracket or socioeconomic whatever. This is just things that are practical and pragmatic and ways to look at the issues around bodies and sex and relationship. And of course, we'll go into money and all those wonderful topics, because part of what Rhonda and I know about sex, and you may know this as well, and what we'll invite you to do is play more with it, your awareness of this, is that sex involves so many more energies than what is typically discussed or talked about or represented in what we refer to as the mainstream media or the mainstream society or the conventional sort of settings. And that's part of where we chose into unconventional conversations to unfuck your life. How complicated do we make our lives around the topics of anything to do with sex? And since we're in bodies and we do have awareness, and we also have these amazing capacities with energies, whether we're choosing to acknowledge them or not at any given point, how likely is it that it gets a little awkward? It gets a little stressful sometimes around the whole thing with the energies of bodies and all of those interesting things that we begin to feel when we're around different people, whether that's a curiosity or an attraction or a detraction or a resistance or a desire to want to be a whole lot closer to that person than you are in the moment, So we kind of looked out into the world and we noticed, in part, there's so much that goes on that we don't acknowledge. And we desire to be empowering people to be acknowledging and actually choosing from more of those energies that are already available to us, that are already active within our lives and in our bodies, and that if we were to be playing more with them, could actually very likely Oh, goodness.
Tickle, tickle. So, Keisha, do you have
Must be
some to
onto
drink?
something. This is so interesting.
So
Isn't it fascinating?
here's a great example for those of you who are curious, like energy, what the hell she's talking about. Some people may think, oh, she just got a tickle in her throat or a frog in her throat. Like, we have the ability to stir up energies, to catalyze shifts in energies, and a lot of times they do show up in our bodies. Either could be validation, acknowledgement, hey, you're onto something, as you just said, keep going down that path. Or so again, nothing is off limits in terms of what's showing up. So how much ease can you and your body be? She's muted.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to be choosing them, what could we be creating? And how much more could we be creating? And what else could be showing up for us to play with?
Yeah.
So we are, as it says in our write-up, excuse me, we are about empowerment, period. So nothing is off limits. Every topic of conversation is on the table for discussion. And if we do kind of get to those points where it really may be more appropriate for us to invite you to work with us outside of the setting of the show, we will give you that invitation as well. There are some things that it's just going to be more appropriate to not necessarily go down those, pursue those particular trails in the public setting like this. However, we will endeavor to pursue and present as much as possible and as much as is totally appropriate,
right,
and fun while we're in conversations. So
to contribute to the whole, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things tugging at me right now. I think what I'd like for folks to know, if they haven't heard it before, is I'm from a very traditional, conservative. I was born in Texas. I moved a lot as an Air Force brat, we call them, and was raised in the church and had all these points of view and beliefs and judgments about what was right and what was wrong, good and bad. And, the subject of sex was so off limits. It was so taboo. It was so no, no, no. And yet, as I went on to my life, and I'm a highly successful individual. I'm college educated. I have a degree. I was very successful in corporate America. I have thousands upon thousands of hours of personal development training and schooling and seminars and classwork and bookwork and you name it. Like, I was so successful, right? But there were these areas of my life that I could not seem to get them to shift and to move. And I would make steps forward and then I'd take all these steps back. And, when I really kept going and never gave up, and when Keisha and I started playing together, and by playing, I mean working together, working on our bodies, doing intuitive energetic work and body processes and things to really try to shift things in a different way, we started having these amazingly crazy conversations that were beyond comprehension in most cases, but they were so light for the both of us, and they expanded our awareness and our knowing and our bodies opening up and shifting and our money and our business, and everything got better. And we were like, okay, we're onto something here. So here goes my eye. Like, how does it get any better? And so, friends, what I really got down to the bottom of is I'm really good at sex, all things sex. And by good at it, I mean, there's nothing I won't talk about. There's nothing I can't look at. There's nothing I'm not willing to consider or play with in terms of a conversation. And Keisha and I are both this way. We have some information and awareness energetically about sex. There's nothing we can't talk about. And so as we played with this, as I started to step into this and choose this space, because again, there would have been a time 6 years ago, no way in hell I was communicating publicly that I would be talking about sex on a weekly basis. Now I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. No question about it. So friends, what I'd like for you to know is no matter where you are right now, no matter what you've been up against or what you've had going on in your life, everything is changeable. I've said it, I'll say it again. And I wonder what you know about sex, what you could know about sex, and what you've been unwilling to tap into as far as sex, that if you were willing to allow yourself to go there would completely open and unlock every area of your life that you've been hoping could be different.
Amen.
Hopefully that made sense. Sometimes I get
That
going.
was beautiful.
You have to reel me back in, Keisha.
So here's something interesting. And when Rhonda and I began to play with this, one of the things we realized is that we sort of had this not necessarily cognitive point of view that this was something that everybody had, that everybody did, that everybody could do. And we began to have some things brought to our awareness that was not necessarily so. And for me, like, I looked at a lot of the other, I looked at a lot of the sex educators that are out in the world right now, a lot of the, a lot of them, many of them have been pioneering what is in this now called the sex positive and sex education field. And a lot of what they said just sort of, it landed for me. It made sense to me. And what I hadn't really acknowledged was how different it is for people to actually have a degree of comfort, a degree of ease with the subject of sex, with the subject of bodies, and with having those conversations to bring information to bear, to bring more awareness into the picture, to really invite people to more of enjoying their own lives, their own bodies, their own possibilities. So through the course of this last year and a half, as we've been playing with collaborating and putting this creation into the world, it's really been interesting to be acknowledging that this is not something that is a norm for very many people. So what would it be like if we could become even more of an invitation? And for all of you who are playing with this production, who are joining us, whether live or in the future, whether you're seeing this in May of 2016, or well, I guess now it's June of 2016, or whether you're seeing it in July of 2018, what is it that we can now be creating together, that we can now be acknowledging together to bring more ease into our lives, and to invite more people to have more ease, with at least just beginning with a conversation, beginning with acknowledging we have a body. Oh, how cool is that? And what is our body showing us? And what information is our body offering us? And what do we do to create these interesting kind of ways that we relate to each other? With our clothes off or with our clothes on? Doesn't really have to matter. Or does it? Yeah. So what is it that we are ready to be acknowledging together? Because this is not just about Rhonda and I telling you what to do. It's not about a technical, specifically like how to improve your love life, or how to have better sex, or how to have more variety in your positions. That's going to be included. That'll be a part of these conversations. It's also about what else is possible for us to explore here, and what could we be offering you that would actually allow you to have more fun and more awareness and more willingness to acknowledge what you know about your body and about the possibilities of sex being a contribution in your whole life, not just in the bedroom or in the backseat of a car, but everywhere across the board, everywhere, in all parts of your life. How much fun could that be?
I'll say, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
So
would you like to do a little
yeah, I'm getting all this, so people see SEX on anything, and you either have the faction that leans in like, oh, what am I going to see? Or you have the ones that are like, oh my God, I can't believe they went there. And then you have the others that can't even see it. So, and beyond, right? Whatever the camp is that you're part of. None of it's right, none of it's wrong, none of it's good, none of it's bad. What we really desire to get you to start to notice and to become aware of is where you function. And is where you're functioning, does it actually work for you? Maybe it worked for you 5 years ago. Maybe it worked for you 20 years ago, wherever. But is it actually working for you now? Because friends, we stay in these cycles and these stories, not even realizing where we're actually functioning. And Keisha and I are really good at just kind of shaking things up enough to you go, oh, wait a minute, what did I just do? What did I just say? What? Why am I believing that? So again, this is about bringing light and awareness to where you are right now, and is it actually helping you move you to where you want to go and be? And if it's not, let's have this conversation, let's shake some stuff up, and let's change some points of view and beliefs. How about it? So thank you, Keisha.
Let's do
Let's do
it.
it. So friends, this is a really fast, easy way for you to get present, because most of us are on autopilot and we're going through our days and we're doing, and we're busy and we're going, and we're not actually present to our bodies. We're not present to our surroundings. We're not present to our lives. We're not present to our partners and spouses and kids, etc. So friends, if you will just honor this the next couple of minutes, I'm going to make this really quick. So I'm going to invite you to just to play along. You can totally scrap it later if you don't like it, but start to notice where your body is right now. How do you feel? How's the sensations? Do you have any aches? Do you have any pains? How's the temperature of the room? Are you cranky? Are you crunchy? Just start to notice. Okay. Now, if you're seated, if you are driving or operating heavy machinery, do not close your eyes. Do not put yourself in a dangerous position. But if you can safely, close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. And if you can do it in through your nose and exhale through your mouth, that would be ideal. So just in, out. And as slowly and deeply as you would like to go. There is no right way to do this. There is no wrong way to do this. Do what's comfortable. Now, if you would start to notice where your feet are. My feet are on carpet, so I can feel the fibers under the bottom soles of my feet. My hands are on my desk, which is a hard wood. My ass is in a leather chair at my desk. So start to notice where you're seated, or if you're standing, or if you're lying down. Start to notice. Notice the sounds in the room. My computer's humming. I can barely hear my ceiling fan whirring. I can hear my heart beating. It's so excited to be here. So notice your surroundings. Okay, keep breathing. Now, we all have a tendency to put up lots of energetic barriers and walls to protect ourselves, which is a lie. So I'm going to ask you all the barriers and walls and encumbrances that you have kept yourself within. I'm going to ask you to please drop them, push them down, just let them fall to the ground. There is nothing that you need to protect yourself from. So push your barriers down, keep breathing. You're in your room, you're listening to my voice. Cool. Now, I would like for you to imagine yourself at the edges of the city that you're in all directions. Don't worry about the how, just imagine yourself. So I can see the edges of my city. I can perceive them. Now let's go to the edge of your state or your province in all directions, including up into the sky and down into the ground. Cool. And let's go a little bit. Can you imagine, can you perceive the edges of the country that you're in? Yeah, keep breathing. But also still be noticing the room you're in, the space that you're in. So I want you to really get the concept of, I'm sitting here in my physical space and I'm very aware of my physical space. I'm very aware of Keisha on the other end of this communication. I'm aware of all of you that are viewing, and I'm also aware of the country that I'm in, which is currently the United States. And then if you'd like to keep expanding out, that's just called an expansion exercise. But really, friends, I want you to also notice how your body is now. Is there more space available in your body? Is there more lightness? Is there maybe less constriction or less contraction? If you had an ache or a pain, is it still there? Is it different? Has it shifted? Has it dissipated and gone away? Just start to notice. Okay, so when you're ready, open your eyes and come on back. So I will tell you that what I noticed, friends, is when it comes to the topic of sex, and a lot of it, money is one, relationships, there tends to be a contraction for most people. We get really balled up. And all I did was just help us expand. That's all we did. And I don't know how long that took. It was really brief, but it's as simple as that. Taking a few moments to yourself just to breathe, notice the space you're in, drop your barriers, and start expanding in all directions, and just notice. just notice. So how was that for you, Keisha?
Lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely.
How's your body?
Yeah. Oh, nice and kind of marshmallowy.
Good.
Got a
Good.
little marshmallowy energy going there. I like
Beautiful.
that. And I'm always so fascinated when we do the expansion exercise, and any time that I just like do expanding out and barriers down, kind of thing. It's always fascinating to me. I'm reminded how much I am aware of that is not necessarily mine.
Correct.
And so a part of the way Rhonda and I play is we'll be inviting you to remember to be including your awareness of how much awareness is actually present for you, available for you, and how much are you actually aware of through the information your body is delivering to you or attempting to, and through just the presence of your energy, what you're able to perceive and what you're able to tap into, and that we have a choice of what we can choose to tap into or not. So we don't have to be in a whole lot of other people's worlds if we do not desire to be. Right. And when it comes to conversations, sexually speaking, a lot of sex and the energy of sex, the activity of sex, whether you're talking about physical copulation or energetically speaking, a lot of sex can get really tangled up because we do go into people's worlds. We can go into other people's worlds so quickly. And it's not necessarily generative all the time for us. It's not necessarily a contribution for us to do that, right? Right. So a lot of what we will be bringing to our conversations is the invitation to tap into what you're aware of and what do you know. So you'll hear us ask you that quite a bit. What do you know? And we're not asking you to cognitively give us an answer. We're just like chiming a little bell to send that little vibration into the energies, into the universe of you, and see what starts to wave, see what starts to resonate, see what starts to vibrate. This is really something we desire to be fun, educational, informational, alchemical in many respects. And I'm kind of going to play with, the more I'm willing to play with all of these energies that we refer to as all the energies of sex and all the energies that include all the energies of sex. I'm really curious to see what begins to happen to our bank accounts, our businesses, our all kinds of relationships, all the adventures of our lives and in our lives that we're going to be creating from this moment on. Like if we're including those energies in our creation, I wonder what else is going to be showing up and what kind of whoa, could not have scripted that kind of thing we're going to be experiencing. Because we love to say it never shows up the way you could imagine it will. And this is one of the prime examples of that. We could not have told you a year ago when we began playing with actively talking about and acknowledging that something was asking to be created. We couldn't have told you it was going to end up as a show called Sexually Speaking. We couldn't have predicted it was going to be, on this particular method of delivery to the people that want to play. We just knew that something really awesome was asking us to pay attention. Yes. And the more we were willing to do that, the more it showed us these fantastically amazing, phenomenal possibilities of life and living, Yeah. So I do have a curiosity when we're speaking, and if you guys can just pop your answers into the chat. When Rhonda and I are speaking, are you seeing the screen change when each of us is speaking, or are you seeing a specifically fixed view on the screen? I am curious. So if some of you could just let us know that. Yeah, and because I'm still learning, we're still learning how to put all of our stuff together to create a production sort of thing. So we have about 25-ish minutes, and I would love to know what if anybody has any questions, please also let us know. And again, you can you have the option of sending a question to Rhonda and myself, or you can make it a public question that everyone can view. And I'm really curious, Rhonda, if, since this particular episode is going to be posted on the website for everyone to be able to view, and it'll be posted as a podcast for people to download and take with them. Future episodes, it will require a ticket to play, and once you sign up one time, you're on our list, which means you're on the guest list. So you'll get the invitation every week to play with us, with the show, and with the possibilities that we'll be creating for additional ways to play with us. So is anything kind of jump into your awareness, Rhonda?
Are you kidding? We only have 20 minutes, so I'm having to I'm getting a whole lot of information. So thank you for those that answered. Did you see the answer to your question? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Gosh, there's so much. All right. Okay, again, my target is to speak words that will create the greatest ease and clarity for all. So if this is redundant to some of you, I wonder what else is available to you as well in this. So what I would really like to know from whoever's willing to share it with us now and in the future, what do you want? Truth. What do you want? So if Keisha and I are having a conversation, sexually speaking, and again, okay, let me back up. Sex, as we know it, as the energies of sex, is creation. It is orgasmic. It is life-giving, okay? We're not just talking about putting body parts together. Like, sex it's everything. The energies are creation, okay? So, but when we talk about sex, or you see the word, or you see something sex related in whatever form, what does it bring up for you? What do you want? And what do you need? Those are the questions that were popping that I jotted down. So it may be different today than what it's going to be in a week or 10 days or a month or a year. But in this moment right now, as you're listening and you're tapping into this, because if you found Keisha and I, you're different, you're willing to maybe consider something different, even for a brief time, however long you're here to play, welcome. What do you want? Truth. What would you like to have out of these conversations? We would like to know. And what do you feel like you need? And then what does sex mean to you? Those are 3 biggies. So you asked. I can't hear you. Turn yourself back on.
Sorry. Great
Hello.
Questions. Awesome questions. And there's a sense of like, what do you want to have? I think for a lot of us, I kind of get that sense. We desire the freedom and the ease to just play and let it be a contribution to us. So I love those questions. What do you want? What do you desire?
And I am going to send this. We have our first.
I love it.
Did you see it?
I'm looking. Oops, where did it go?
Oh, did I? Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
Ooh, great.
Okay,
great,
let me so the first one I just sent back privately, and I didn't write it down. This is the learning curve. We are humans doing our humanoid thing right now, friends. So thanks for bearing with us. So can you share that one again, the person that I just responded to? And I'm going to take notes, Keisha, if you want to keep going.
Sure. Is it the I'd like to better understand why sex is important?
And there was one before that I responded to that I need.
Awesome. So, I love that. So here's something to bear in mind as well. As we're playing, as Rhonda and I think you'll probably hear us say this a lot. So when we're talking about sex, we're including all of those energies. So we're including the physical behavior, we're including the hormones, we're including all of the things that happen with bodies in a behavioral way, if you will, in a chemical way, in a physical way, and we're also including all of the energies that are a part of, or that go into the way we choose and create and exist. Okay, so we're including all of that in what we're referring to as sex. It's a much broader spectrum for us in our awareness than what is typically acknowledged. So there could be a little bit of a acclimation phase as we have more of these conversations. And if you're just joining us, you know, as we've had 20 something conversations down the road, awesome. And just know that as you hear us talking about it, if there's a little bit of tilted puppy dog head that happens for anybody, you know, just bear in your awareness that, yeah, we're going to be talking about the inclusion of all of it. So why, I love that question. Do you want to play with that now, Rhonda? We've got a few minutes.
Yeah, the better understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great. Hang on, let me see if there's anything else we need to just attend to. Yeah, friends, just a reminder, everything is perfect in perfect timing. The more open and willing you are to receive whatever the clues, the cues, the signs, the symbols, the conversations are as they come to you, just be open and receptive to the information. It may not make sense to you right now, but if you're willing to receive it, the puzzle pieces will come together. I promise you. The conversation I'm having about sex today versus 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, completely different paradigm. So I didn't get it all at once. Thank God. I probably would have been an overwhelm and I can't do it. But friends, it's all divine timing. All is well, and we will get whatever we can fill in the blank for you at the time. Just know that you're good. You got this. Okay. Okay. Yes. Let's play with that.
Oh, so
everybody take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Stand out. Drop those barriers. Everybody's like,
move
stand
a little,
back out.
Move your spine.
There you go. There you go.
Move your
Okay.
neck.
Better.
Okay.
There we go.
So we have a question around why is sex so important to our life experiences? And I did just notice, Rhonda, that if we click over to the answered column, it shows all the questions.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow. How cool is that?
I love learning new technology.
I love it. And thank you all
so sexy.
for learning with us.
Who knew technology could be so sexy? Okay. Thank you.
So sex being important to our life experiences, there's a couple of ways I can go with this. So first, what I wonder is if we can, okay, no, that's not quite necessary. So yeah, so if we were not in a body, the way we would be receiving the information through those life experiences would be very different. Yes?
Yeah.
So part of my awareness is, I don't know if I would say sex is important to it. I would say for me, it's like this natural part of it. And the subtle difference that I'm perceiving is, given that it has been made so significant and it has been very, very contracted and constricted and restricted into a specific, like sex has to refer either to a male or female gender identification kind of thing, or it refers to a physical act of copulation in conventional conversations. And given that it's been sort of relegated to that, I think that has really distorted the way we are able to take information in and to actually relate to our own bodies, to each other, to the experiences we have, and the way that we interpret our physical world. So what I wonder is if part of what we can be playing with and exploring is, as we really kind of relax the parameters, actually maybe get rid of the parameters altogether of the way we are supposed to define sex, if we can be more curious about, okay, what is this showing me? And when we're asking the question, what is this showing me? If we have no expectation of what it is supposed to be that it's showing us, I wonder how much more we can actually be receiving and becoming aware of. And I may be speaking in really lofty terms. So Rhonda, is there anything in there that...
Yeah, no, I think that was beautiful. Because Because again, this is going to be a bigger, and I think this is a great
It's a lovely
whole show. So we can just start to scratch the surface on it because we literally have 15 minutes. How can I connect the dots additionally? I think really importantly, okay. Wow. Like, whoop, there's the wall. Okay, I see you all. I'm coming over. We're going to speak to this. How would you like for me to do this?
Now, here's something I can say is if you were to put it in conventional terms, we are sexual creatures.
Yes.
If you're here in a body, you've chosen to be hosted by a creature that is all about being connected, is all about being in a relationship to other objects that exist in the world, in this three-dimensional world. So our bodies have these amazing capacities that are the innate nature of our bodies, of the creature that hosts us, okay? The organic nature of our bodies is that they bring us information.
Right.
And we have a choice to receive the information in the space of ease, or to receive these information through certain filters. And depending on the filters that have been created, and the filters are not a wrongness or a rightness, it's simply something that gets created the way we do things here. But depending on the filters, or relative to the filters that information is coming through, it largely determines how we interpret what that feeling or what that energy means. So part of what Rhonda and I work with is removing the meaning, removing the significance, not to make it mean nothing, but rather to allow what information is available that we can truly be letting contribute to us actually show up. Okay. So if I had a lot of experiences around physical sex that were very unpleasant as a young child. There was a lot of distortion in my world. There was a lot of rage around sex and around bodies and all things to do with physicality. So my early years, I had a lot of filters that brought that energy. The way that energy got to me was through these filters of intensity and aggression and unkindness. So the way it landed in my world largely was as something to have to protect myself from or be afraid of. And what I can say now is as I removed or dissolved some of those filters, I was able to receive those energies as the intensity, but not an intensity that was destructive to me. Okay, so I was actually able to receive the gift of those energies. And this is where we begin to get free. We begin to have greater choice for ourselves. So I would say that sex is really a generative part of our life experience. However, it doesn't always show up in a generative way.
Right. And
that is a part of what we will be conversating all through the series of our shows about, is the so many different ways we interpret those energies, and the full spectrum of those energies. What are they? And what do they add to our life and to our experiences? And what does it teach us? What does it show us? What does it gift us? What does it empower us to be more of?
Yeah, Lily's moving that energy. So thank you. Beautiful. That was additional information required. Now, what I'm honing in on this question is why sex is important to our life experience. And with that additional information and energies, and what I'm tapped into is, friends, what if sex as you know it, or as what it can be, what if it isn't one of your targets? Like, what if it isn't important to you? What if it doesn't have to be important to you? So again, tacking on to what Keisha said, it really, I would invite you to really get clear on what is important to you, what is vital to you, what is necessary for you in your life. Now, let me just give you a little example. I am a sexual creature, and by this means I am aware of my surroundings at all times. I am in communion and communication with the trees outside my window and the birds that perch and the squirrels and my son. And like, I am aware of all the energies that are in play all the time. And I am nurtured by them, and I honor them to the best of my ability. And they are very generative for me because I'm aware of them. I'm also aware of the intensities and the unkindness and the anti-consciousness and because I am sex. I am nurturing I desire to be caring and generative and the things that make things greater. Okay. Tell me if I'm getting too far off course here, Keisha. It's not landing.
You're going.
Okay. Because I am sex, when I was not being these energies of allowing myself to feel good, to feel sensual, to move like a cat, to wear certain fabrics, to show up and speak to somebody from total kindness, whether they were a stranger or an old trusted friend, when I didn't allow myself to be these energies that I already was, because I'd shut them away, because I'd lock them down, because of how they may have showed up in the past or what people may have judged them to be, my life got harder. My body got more rigid. It was not supple anymore. It wasn't fluid. My bank account got stuck. My relationships got crunchy. Like, everything in my life started going the opposite of what I desired. And so for me, what I had to get really clear on was like, what is going on here? And for me, this is me, when I tapped into the energies of what I'd like my life to be like, which is ease, which is flow, which is fun, which is playfulness, which is silliness, which is goofiness, and all the things that I am, I wasn't allowing myself to be that. So when I further researched and looked and picked apart, it was all these energies that I now identify as these sexual energies. And because of the way society had deemed it wrong and bad, and it couldn't show up I could show up at this venue, but I can't show up as that in that venue. And I can't speak to this person that way, but I can speak. Like, it was all the rules and the rigidity and the conformity of how it had to show up. I was killing myself. So I had to get really clear on what was important to me. And I'm important to me. And I am sex. Now, it doesn't mean I'm shagging everything that walks by. It doesn't mean that I'm ogling. It just means that I'm allowing myself to show up and be the energies that are showing up at that time. I'm not labeling them. I'm not making them right or wrong. I'm not making any of it significant. And the more that I do that, the more ease I have, the more people magnetically want to know me and lean in and ask me questions, and they're willing to be more of that for themselves. And again, this is a really big conversation. So I had to identify for myself what was important to me. And sexual energy, which is creation energy, is very important to me. And so I still can deconstruct a lot of this every single day. I look at it from a different angle. I'm really curious about this. And again, this is a huge topic. So I hope that maybe lends a little bit of additional information for right now, about the importance of, sex for you. And again, what does it mean to you is a great place to start. I had to deconstruct and disassemble all my points of view and judgments and conclusions about what sex was that were never mine to begin with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's something also, I think, and this will be included in in pretty much every conversation. If we look at the sort of metaphor of talking, if we're looking at physical copulation, how much more vulnerable does it get than to remove your clothes, to be completely physically and quite likely emotionally naked with another person, and to choose to bring your bodies together and to actually allow each other to explore your bodies and actually be connected through your bodies in different ways, whether that's through physical, if it's a man and a woman, the penetration in the traditional sense or missionary sense, or whether that's if you're a man with a man or a woman with a woman. However that sort of physical and emotional penetration is occurring, how much more vulnerable does it really get for a lot of us? Now, and this will be a part of many conversations, we can choose to be present with that or not. But if you look at the metaphor of that, you're receiving another person, you're receiving an energy, and you're in a completely vulnerable state or a completely vulnerable position. And for me, there's a lot of an exempling in that, of that is really how we engage our life, or it could be. And if we were willing to allow ourselves to be that vulnerable and receive all the information, receive all of our awareness, receive the fullness of the energies of our life and living from the universe, or as a co-creator in the universe, I wonder if our life experiences would become more fun, more enjoyable, more fulfilling, and B, if perhaps the actual physical act of sex and expression of sex could become more enjoyable and not be something that we had to perform, or we had to check off boxes, that it had to be good for somebody else, So there's all of that, but like what was really kind of popping was the level of vulnerability that so many of us in general are not willing to allow ourselves to be. And that's another part of what we will be playing with in the course of these conversations, and in the work that we will offer, and in the work that we provide, is really getting to that space of vulnerability and really being willing to receive what it is that is showing up. And this is not about being a victim. This is not about anybody having power over you. This is not about being vulnerable in the sense that you are helpless. This is actually the space of vulnerability that is really powerful.
Right.
So that is a part of what we are including in the conversation about sex and sexual energies and all the energies of sex.
Yeah, let me just add, this is about being vulnerable. Before you're vulnerable with anybody else, you must be vulnerable with yourself. And by this, it means when you're ready to stop telling yourself a story, when you're ready to stop lying to yourself about A, B, C, D, or E, it's when you, and just you, sitting in your space all by your lonesome, nobody around, nobody to distract you, and you have those really courageous, true depth conversations deep conversations with yourself about what's really going on, what you really want, what you really desire, what you really don't want. Like, it's nobody else has to know it. But the more vulnerable and honest and truthful you are with yourself, watch how quickly everything in your life starts to get better. Because again, like, oh my gosh, we got so much conversation to go here, and we are so limited on time. So friends, starts with you. Don't worry about anybody else right now. This is about you. If you're not willing to have a vulnerable, true, real conversation with yourself, you're only going to be scratching the surface. That's all I can say about that right now. So, yeah.
And when you're hearing us say you, we're saying you in a general term for anybody who's wondering. This is also unconventional. So when we're answering questions, we're taking the question and taking the energy of the question, and we're applying it to, like, tapping into as many of the people who are contributing and participating, to include everyone in how we are bringing our awareness and our information into that response to the questions. So so this will never be about making anyone wrong or right. This will always be about getting to the awareness and getting to what creates the freedom and the lightness and the expansiveness and the opening to new possibilities for each of the people who are playing here.
Absolutely.
Whether you're listening live or to a recording of the show. So, wow, what an incredible premiere over.
How did that just happen? What? It always happens that way. It's too fast.
And since we are going to post this for open general public viewing, we may just take a couple of minutes here. Let folks know how they can get a hold of us, if you would, Rhonda. We have a Gmail account.
We currently, yes. Yes, conversationswithkr@gmail.com. That will be in all our communications if you're on the guest list. But conversationswithkr@gmail.com is our current email address. We will be putting together a Facebook page or group, something of that nature, where we will have more interaction in between shows. You can reach Keisha through her Facebook page, through the A to Zen host site, as you can myself. So Keisha Clark, KeishhaClark, as Keisha's spelling, and I'm Rhonda, RHONDA BURNS. And friends, again, this is just the beginning. This is just one step. So wherever you are, get really clear on what it is that you want. And it doesn't just mean in terms of the sexual conversation. What do you want? You are the creator. You are the creator of your life, of your living, of your reality, with your body, with your business, and on and on and on. What do you really want? And how can we assist you in having it and bringing it into existence? We'd like to know.
So use that email address to let us know your questions. Again, we'll also have conversations going in the Facebook group. Yep. There will be a Facebook group and a Facebook page. The page will be for public promotions of the upcoming shows and things like that. The group will actually be for all of you who sign up and get on the guest list. You'll be like a member, and you'll be invited into the Facebook group to participate in the actual conversations in the group. So just in case that gets confusing for anybody, there will be a page and a group, two different functions there.
Can we speak to the guest list?
Yeah, let's do that.
I know that's a question for people. And again, I know in marketing terms out there, people are building their list and they want your email address, and we get thousands of emails per week. And it's just one more thing to have to go through. It's one more thing to have to opt out of. Friends, these are conversations that are going to be unconventional. They will go wherever they need to go in order to create change and shift for people and space and freedom. We require you to have skin in the game. If you want to be an active participant in these, whether you can join us live or not, or just are you able to see the replays, we need to know that you actively choose to be here in this space. This is a sacred space. We do not take this space lightly. I mean, we do from the playfulness aspect, but we are going to honor the space and we're going to revere the space, which includes you. So we want to know that you want to be here. Not just one more thing to have in your repertoire of shit to listen to, like, excuse me, but like, do you want us to help contribute to you having greater in your life in this area and all areas? That's my 2 cents on it. And if that's too intense for you, I do apologize. Not really. I mean, you're going to get to know. I'm going to tell it like it is from my point of view. So what would you like to say on that matter, Keisha, that might be a little bit more graceful?
I could just do ditto to Rhonda, ditto to whatever. And yes, we do ask that you make the choice. So that this is not just, we're not going to put this, at least in this 10 seconds, this project, this collaboration, it does not desire to be on a free forum, so that we do want to create that space for transformation and for empowerment to be happening in a way that offers you some anonymity, for those who desire anonymity. And if you don't, that's cool too. We can talk to you with your proper name. If you're ever willing to, if you want us to put you on the live shot, we can do that. And if you just want to be contributing questions, that's awesome. Know that your questions are a huge contribution to where we're able to go. Yes. So that is a part of that. The way this relationship works is we co-create this together. Rhonda and I will we're bringing our game, we're bringing our A game every week. We will be showing up. We will be preparing to be ready for whatever topic wants to present itself. We'll have some general kind of topic items, but wherever you want to go, we're willing to go. And we're also willing to say if somewhere that we need to go needs to happen in a more private setting, as I said before. And other than that, how much change, how much empowerment, how much freedom, how much more fun can we be choosing, creating, having, being with each other as we play on this forum. Truly, what else is possible for all of us to be including all of the energies of sex and the sex of everything in the creation of our lives? And how much fun could we have doing that? We would love to be there and be a part of this with you, and love for you to be a part of this with us. So if you haven't signed up, please go get on the guest list. If you have, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And check your spam folders for the time being until we change it up. And friends, confusion is not invited to the party. If any of this confused you, or something's not landing, or you do require additional information, please let us know. We'll speak to what we become aware of, but the more assistance we have from you on what you require in order to create that clarity and freedom, please let us know. I cannot impose that enough. That we need to know where you are, what you require, because we do desire these conversations to be different, in that it's about empowering you. It's not about what we say. It's not about how we say it. It's about what you know, what you want, what you need, etc. So enough for now.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful friends. Thank you for being here for our premiere over. And if you want to play with us in the future, please get on the guest list.
Yes.
And we are ready to take this rocket ship and go places that we don't even know exist.
Absolutely.
So what can we be creating now? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next week, Tuesdays, 12 noon Eastern time, and check your inbox. And thank you.
Thank you. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, cool. I just wanted to check the Q&A.
We got
all right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week.